You want to know the best teams and equipment to build the new Legends Limited Goku from Saiyan Saga, but first you need to know how to use him. This unit here is a red unit and he's also a melee type. The aim is to use him very offensively, so every time you switch him onto the battlefield, you need to take advantage of the damage that he can do. When he's in Kaioken after transforming, he's very oppressive. The damage he can do is quite scary, especially on his blue card, which he can get off his main ability. He doesn't have any survivability, but he can heal quite a bit when he switches in every single time. And two things to take advantage of: his green card is a solar flare, which gives him cover no and type neutral, as well as the fact that you should be winning every Dokabaki impact, which is the time those taps, especially if you're against Vegeta. Let's get into this video now. Right, so the first team I'm going to be showing you is Saiyan Saga, as per the units coming out there from Saiyan Saga. The red Goku there that I'm using is a placeholder for the Legends Limited Goku. He's red. They look the same, but it's nowhere near the same, but I'm just using him because I don't have him. We've got the 8 Vegeta there being green, and then we've got Tien, obviously placeholders for the whole team because I don't have any of the units, but I'm doing this based on the units that I've seen put together and the teams that I've fought. I'm top 300 in PvP right now. So yeah, this is just the full Saiyan Saga team basically with all the new units. But what I would advise if you're running Saiyan Saga, to actually leader slot a very popular unit or overpowered unit, which I will show later in this video, because having Vegeta on this team, it mixes the blast type with melee types and that kind of throws it off for efficiency purposes. You might want to leader slot somebody like Ultra Margin Vegeta, but having the survivability layer from Tien because of the, you know, succession layer, and then Vegeta also has revival, it could be very useful. But you could have someone like Ultra Margin Vegeta who cancels buffs. Do you get what I'm saying? So cool. If we go into the character list, and I'll show you some other options on Saiyan Saga that you could actually run. So if I go to my character list here, go to the filter, just make sure it's on Saiyan Saga the episode, and then you could turn on Sparking and Ultra. Out of the blues, I've seen people trying to run this guy because he heals, but I'd say he's one of the weaker options, even though the blues don't have much. Maybe Yamcha would even be a better option, but I imagine a lot of you guys don't have him. Going into the greens, obviously you're going to want to run Vegeta. He's going to be your best man. This unit here, wouldn't really recommend, but people used to use him back in the day. I'd say he's one of the weaker options as well, but even worse than Fiku. In terms of the purple, it should go without saying Tien and Chaozu. And then going into the yellows, we've got Nappa. Nappa is very good with his Cybermen, can be useful. This Goku as well can be useful. And then going into the reds, it's obviously going to be the new Goku over here. If you're not using him, you might just want to put the fries in the bag. Obviously for this video, it's about him as well. But like I said, I think it's more versatile of a team if you actually go the leader slot route. It's way safer in my opinion. But yeah, this is the first team, and we've got Saiyan Saga. The second team we got here is Saiyans. I think Saiyans is very effective, maybe more so than Saiyan Saga, depending on your star level and whatnot. But it's basically a mix of God Ki. I would say is the best optimal team. Here we've got UI Goku, MUI Goku, and we've got his best partner God Goku. Again, another unit I don't have, but a very budget version here. You know, I'm not gonna actually run this free to play, but if you have the Legends Limited with his platinum equipment, be sure to run him. You could also just make this universe rep, and it would still somewhat be Saiyans because Kale and Caulifla are Saiyans, but then the bench would just be different accordingly, which I will show you options for later, but it'd be revolving around the new Goku more than anything else. But in this case, I've got the new Goku on the leader slot. What I want you guys to note though, when you're building teams around Saiyans, be very wary of the Z abilities, because the Z abilities don't always buff Saiyans. So you might see a unit that's super good, that's a Saiyan, but he doesn't buff Saiyans. So you got to be very careful when building. But let me show you some characters that you can actually use. So I'm going to change my filter here, go to character tag, turn on Saiyans, and I'll keep Sparking and Ultras on. Now, if we look at the options here, some people might recommend Shallot, and I think in blue he could be useful. He actually can take a hit. He heals a lot, and his defenses are great. But I just want you guys to hold that in mind in case you do want to try him. Any other blues I would recommend, obviously I already showed you UI Goku. I've personally been using Fusing Super Vegeta, but I'd only recommend if you have him like higher than 12 stars or something. I don't think he's that good, but the Rising Rush can be very useful, especially against the Part 1 units who don't have any type of buff cancellation, so his Rising Rush can go through. If we're looking into the green options here, Rev UI, depending on who you're building with, could be a very good option, so don't sleep on him. People using Vegeta Blue, but Vegeta Blue is a range type, so it wouldn't really work as well. In my opinion, I wouldn't really recommend it. Even though at higher star he can be useful, depending on how you want to build the rest of the team, Rose could be an option. His strike damage is very good, but he's also very star reliant, even with his plat. Going into the purples, we got some options here and there. So Gold Freezer, for example, some people might want to use Gold Freezer because of the Rising Rush hindrance, but again, it depends on how you're building the rest of the team. I've seen some people try bring up Blue Bros, but I personally wouldn't recommend. I've seen some people try use Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I use them a bit, but my Gogeta's 14 stars, so he works. I find that he's very good against Vegeta because Vegeta is a revival unit and G4 eats up revival units. But I wouldn't exactly recommend G4 unless you have him higher than 10 stars maybe. Going into the yellows, I mentioned Kale and Caulifla already. They can actually be very good. Again, it depends on what the rest of your team is looking like. And out of any other ones, maybe Gogeta Blue. But then again, it depends on what the rest of your team is looking like. And then here in the reds, maybe Kaba and Super Saiyan Goku Mini. But there's a lot of options I don't have, which is where the real source is. So if you're thinking all of these options are not good, we've got some good options now. So of course, we've got Nappa, we've got Vegeta. Again, just be careful because they're range type. More on that end. Vegeta, again, another range type option, so be careful. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is a very good option, I'm not gonna lie. Turles, obviously be careful because of the Z abilities. Ultra Majin Vegeta, same thing there. And that would be pretty much it for the Saiyan options. Just very much so be wary. I know there's a lot of options, but that doesn't mean they're good options. And be wary of the Z abilities because even though the units are good, they might feel weak just off the fact that you don't have them merging well together. For the third and final team, even though I think it's much weaker in comparison to the two other teams I've shown you, we've got Son Family. Now it can still be used, but it depends on your investment level, your star levels. But if it was me, I wouldn't use Son Family over the two other teams I just showed you, without a doubt. But it's basically the same as Saiyans, but I've just put Beast Gohan on the leader slot. There might be options here and there that you might want to put on your leader slot accordingly. Like I said, I'll show you some leader slot options later. But if we go into the character list, obviously I've got the Goku here, MUI Goku, Son Family, and then Ultra Beast because he doesn't buff Son Family, so I have to put him on the leader slot, plus his Ultra ability. But let's go to the character list here. Make sure your filters on Son Family and keep on Sparkings and Ultras. So if we're looking at the blues, in the same boat I mentioned before, basically we got MUI Goku is going to be your best pick. Fusing Super Vegeta, again, it depends. I wouldn't really recommend, but depends on your star level. Going into the greens, Rev UI, Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, I would say 8 stars or higher, 10 stars or higher. Not exactly the best option with this Goku because he's a range type unit, but he can still work. The free-to-play Goku Mini can actually be useful as well. Ultimate Gohan, depending on your star level, can actually be very useful. Going into the yellows, Beast Gohan, I would say, is your best pick. And then in the red, Super Saiyan Goku Mini, of course, we've got the Goku there, so you might not want to run 2 reds. But then we've got a lot of other options who I don't have, which are the better options in my opinion. So we've got God Goku, Gohan and Trunks are very good. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Of course, Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima, just be wary you're not getting that indestructible. And even this Goku Youth, if you have him, because he has indestructible as well, he can be very useful. But I'd say that's pretty much it. It's basically just a weaker version of Saiyans, but depending on what pieces you have, it could work. But if you had the optimal Saiyans, you wouldn't really need to use Son Family, in my opinion, but it's an option nonetheless. Now we've got some bench options here, and there's not a lot, and that's because your bench would be formed of the unit that you're mainly trying to buff, and then obviously some units that you might want to buff as well, because it's a 3v3 game. You don't want to put all your eggs into the basket of just Goku, because if he dies, then the rest of your team are not getting the same buffs or Zenkai buffs. The first one here, which I'd say is one of the best options, depending on what type of team you're running, is this Kakarot Goku. Now, he's unavailable to get in the game, and from the seams of it, he's not going to be coming back into Dragon Ball Legends. But if you do have him, he's very useful. HP buff on his ability, and it gives a half Zenkai buff for Red Saiyans, which obviously Goku is. And then here, next one, we've got Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who is accessible. His Z ability is only to Red, but the Zenkai buff is what you're looking for. You can get the Zenkai buff there, Red Saiyan, which is obviously effective for Goku. We've got here Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, which I'd say is the worst one, especially because he's blast oriented. You can see for his Z ability, but the Zenkai buff does still work on this Goku. And then last thing here, I've got a HP buff, EX Yajirobe. You can see his 22% to max base health, and you also get critical 20% base critical if you're Saiyan Saga. So Goku will get that, and then if you're running a leader slot, whoever's a leader slot will get that too accordingly. So I'd say these 4 are the best. You know, you get 3 Zenkai buffs and you have 1 HP buffer, which is super nice. And then of course the other units you're using will also have the abilities to form the team whole. Now here are some leader slot options you might want to consider. So we've got Ultra Beast Gohan. He's already on Sun Family, but again, depending on what type of team you're building, you want to lead slot him. We've got Ultra Margin Vegeta. He's going to be super valuable. A lot of people will be using this guy, already are using this guy for good reason. He's got everything, man. We've got Ultra Tellers. People have been using this guy for the extra layer of survivability, especially if you're running Vegeta. Now you've got 2 layers of basically second life. You've got this comeback, I believe it is, and then you've also got Vegeta's revival, which is nice. And then you've got Perfect Cell here. Again, more on the range type, but this guy's just so good, you can use him. Nullifying endurance permanently is very valuable on the team. He also has buff cancellation, which is super nice. Just be wary because you're running 2 reds. And in that same boat, you've got Hit. No survivability here, but offensively, one of the best in the game because of his time skip. Literally cannot be stopped. And here we've got Ultra UI, MUI Goku as the last option. There's nobody after this. He's super good on his own. I'd argue still the best unit in the game individually, and even for team purposes he just works everywhere, so I'd advise putting him on the leader slot as well. Now we're going into some equipments. So we've got this one here, Unleash Your True Power. It's a pure equipment, so what that means is you're basically getting a multiplier on your base stats. If it says base strike defense or base strike attack, it's just a base number being added to the numbers you already have. But if you see here, it says 11.95 to own strike attack. The base word has been left out, and that implies that it's a multiplier. So what it's good to do is to have 2 equips with good base stats and 1 equipped with good pure stats. So this one here is a pure equipment for Sun Family, and it only applies if you're running 3 Sun Family members, including the Goku. Of course, he's going to be a Sun Family member. So here you get Pure Strike and Pure Blast, which is super useful. Defenses on all 3 slots as well. And how you can get this is from the dual coin equipment exchange shop. This equipment here, there are those actually capable of producing a satellite. It can be useful for just overall buffs for Saiyan Saga Z. So if you have this or you want to grind it, go ahead. You can see he gets blast attack, HP, which is actually super valuable, strike attack as well, which is the main thing. And you can get this from the ultimate equipment collection. Given that Saiyan Saga just got a bunch of buffs, it's only right I show you this equipment. Vegeta takes Nappa's hand. You can see you can get HP and you can get base strike and blast defense. But what's good about the slot 3 is that you get pure offenses, just damage inflicted. It's usually strike or blast, but this is just damage inflicted per Saiyan Saga battle member, and you can have 3 of these. Now there's 2 options here. You can go for defenses depending on what you need, but I'd say go for the offenses, and you can get this from the Anniversary Spacetime Duel Medal 1 or the Equipment Medal Exchange Shop, so 2 places. In the same light as the previous equipment, we've got the Z Warriors Assembled. Now I'd say this one would be slightly better because you can also get the defenses while having the offenses. You can see the base HP, and you can see the strike and blast defense while also getting strike and blast offense, so attack, which is nice. But you have to be running Saiyan Saga strictly, and then it's the same exchange shops, the Anniversary Dual Medal 1 and the Dual Coin exchange shop. Now this equipment can be good to get you an increase in stats. So you can see the first slot you can get the strike attack, but I'd only advise really grinding this during the Bonanza because it's an awakened equipment. I'll turn you both into scrap. Base strike attack on the first slot, strike attack on the second slot, you can get defenses on the third slot. This is the memory, so you can get it from the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush shop, but you're going to need the unawakened version to get to that awakened stage. And you can see here it's for red melee type as well, but the unawakened version is not as good. But you can get this from the Equipment Medal exchange shop. The last equipment I'm going to show you here, this is Kaioken. You can see you can get pure stats as well while having the base. So this is only if you want to hone in specifically on that strike attack. It's going to be very useful on Saiyan Saga. You can see here base strike defense, base strike attack, base blast defense, and then the pure on the slot 2. This is the memory, so you can get this from the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush shop, but you're going to need the unawakened version, which is thankfully right next to it. You can see here this is Kaioken. The unawakened version is much worse, don't use it, but you can get this from 2 places: Fierce Battle, Vegeta the Prince of Fate, and the Equipment Medal exchange shop. That's going to be the end of the video. I did my best to give you guys the best teams and equipment for the new Legends Limited Goku, so hopefully you guys have fun using him. If you have got him, you will definitely be able to make some use of him. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.